5280 Magazine in Denver, Colorado. Denise, I am excited to talk with you. Yes, the feeling is mutual. Real quick, housekeeping items. Get on the Best Served Podcast Facebook page, COVID-19 restaurant information thread. I've been hustling for you guys daily, putting every link, resource, article, anything that I can find. Several things from Denise in there that are just keeping us up to date on what's happening, any opportunities, jobs, anything, even a couple memes to keep people smiling. And we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. Hashtag 86 coronavirus virtual tip campaign. We're going to be connecting people direct to Venmo and PayPal accounts so that people can pay the hospitality forward, since we've done so much work putting millions and millions of dollars into the nonprofit sector. Betsy especially is very connected to nonprofit donors, and we want to call on them to repay the hospitality. All right. So Denise, we're going to talk about social media a lot. We're going to talk a little bit about guilty food pleasures. Love the article that just came out. Amazing. And then also talk somberly about the passing of Floyd Cardos, a true icon and the first chef that of stature and name, I should say. I'm sure there's plenty of others, and we feel just as bad for them and their families. However, this is somebody who has lived in the limelight for quite a while, being part of Danny Meyer's group and what he's done. And so hearing that, it really hit home. So those are a couple of things we're going to touch on, as well as delivery, which is very big right now. And we're going to pull on that thread just a little bit. So let's start though with you personally. You know, having a massive responsibility to be the conduit for communication within and without of the hospitality industry. Tell me what you're feeling right now as far as where your position is in trying to navigate this craziness. For dear life, yeah. Do you have a delay? Yep. Yeah, it's keeping you busy, I'm sure. And so a lot of that, most of that is being pushed through social media. You know, there's not a lot of people going out and getting print magazines when they're in the checkout line at the grocery store. Right? Yeah. Pick it up and just sanitize the outside of it, you know, like be diligent, all that. And but social media has played, yeah, so much in social media. Mm, yeah, good. Because why not? Yeah, I could not agree more. It's just this is where we're going to be socializing. We're social animals, and restaurants have been a place, and bars and distilleries and breweries, to your point. And so that's been a major shift. And for me personally, and maybe restaurants at large, I think what's really important to recognize is that social media seemed like a burden, to your point. I remember the first time I got on social media was in 2009. Lee Sullivan, when I was the chef de cuisine at Tag Restaurant, lovingly threatened my job if I didn't get onto social media. Not really. She said, get on social media or you're fired, in a joking, loving way. But I was like, all right. And then I got motivated. I was like, I'm going to have more followers than you in no time. And like 3 months later on Twitter, I had more followers. So I got really competitive about it. However, it's easy for us to dismiss it and make fun of people that are on their phone the whole time, things like that. Yet right now, it is the conduit for communication. And a lot of restaurants are seeing that the ones that have done it well, that have built community on social and just in their neighborhoods, are doing well versus others that are now trying to catch up. And there's a lot of white noise. Good. I'm glad to hear it. All right. Guilty food pleasures. This is a great article that you had. The whole team, everyone had a little note about what their guilty food pleasures are. First, tell us your guilty food pleasure. He can be on if he wants to. My boys hop into stuff all the time. Say hi to everyone. Sam, what is your mom's guilty food pleasure? What does she eat and kind of hide in the corner as she's eating it? Okay. Are you, yes, it is. It is a Denver founded chain, so at least you're keeping it Colorado in that. And and it was really great reading that. And it's just that moment of levity was funny. And so I felt compelled. I saw your post. I was like, I have to tell people what mine is. Good. I'm glad to hear it. All right. My guilty food pleasure is Annie's mac and cheese, which is technically supposed to be for the boys. And so Betsy will cook it up. Somehow I'm like, no, I'm not going to cook that powdered cheese mix stuff. Yet I can't help myself. I still need to eat it, and I'm so funny because I won't even put it in a bowl. I literally will have the pan and like the spoon I was stirring in. I'll stand in the kitchen and just kind of eat it. Guilty as the boys are over there eating it for lunch.
It's eco-friendly because there's one less dish to wash. You're saving water, really.
I'm going to take that and say that was always my plan. It wasn't that I was eating mac and cheese in the kitchen. We have like a high counter that separates the kitchen from the table. And I find myself like peeking over at the boys being like, I hope they're not going to want more.
Literally hiding.
Because I'm eating all of the rest of this, which is really funny. So guilty food pleasures. Get it in the comments. Tell us your guilty food pleasures. And then after.
And actually, let me say, no guilt. Yeah. Nobody should feel guilty about eating anything. Moderation, but no, just shout it loud and proud. We're all stuck in the house. Who knows what people are eating right now? That could be a whole book. Quarantine discussions. I'm telling you.
That would be a whole book. We did, however, do something yesterday or the day before where I actually took all the we don't need 7 bags of chips in the house. So we kept 1 bag of chips in the house because there was this like mentality when there was 7 bags. It's like, we got to eat through these chips. And I found myself just chipping and dipping away like a crazy person. I was like, oh,
it's in the house.
It's in the house. Right there in front of you. So share those with us, and then we'll circle back and get the link to that article in the comments here. Floyd Cardos, Tabla bread bar, like amazing chef. And it was strange for a couple of reasons. I have been listening to Setting the Table again by Danny Meyer as I've been cooking my bone broth and stuff. And literally the day that this happened yesterday, I put on sorry, I'm even struggling getting this out. I put on the headphones, the earbuds, and not 5 minutes in is the time that Danny is recalling and says Floyd Cardos and Tabla. And it just like really hit me hard. This is the first chef, somebody that we know, somebody that's in our zeitgeist right now as far as hospitality industry, that has come to coronavirus. And it was definitely pretty jarring, I think, for a lot of us and stuff. So, how are you seeing this kind of playing out from your angle?
It's been heartbreaking to read. I mean, everybody across the industry is chiming in with their wonderful stories and all the different ways that they're honoring him and his memory. I never knew him in a personal or even professional capacity. But when I was in culinary school in New York City, and I went to the Institute of Culinary Education, which then was on 23rd Street, 23rd Street, whatever. I haven't lived there.
Ave Street. I always get confused when I'm out there.
23rd. You just say 23rd. And it's right near Madison Square Park, which was really near where Tabla was. And I was dating my husband at the time, and we and our dear friends saved up and went to Tabla for a very special meal, really trying to immerse myself in better food and fine dining and learn all sorts of things as a culinary student. It was such an amazing meal. And I've heard he is a wonderful father, a wonderful human being. So it's really sad. I'm really worried that when we get through this, everybody's going to have a terrible, heartbreaking story of someone they knew that is no longer with us.
Yeah, and to further that, the eeriness, the surrealness of this, the boys really like Somebody Feed Phil. Phil Rosenthal has a travel cooking show. Phil Rosenthal created Everyone Loves Raymond, and just really funny, goofy, quintessential New York Jew like energy and stuff. And in this episode that we watched last week, he was with Floyd Cardos. They go to this cafeteria type thing. And I was telling Betsy, I was like, oh, Floyd Cardos, I really like that guy. His collaboration beer with Brooklyn Brewery was the first chef-driven collaboration beer I had ever heard of, and then eventually got to try. And it inspired me to do my first collaboration beer with Bull and Bush. Yeah. It was called Saison du Bulldog. When we were at Tag, a Saison with ginger, lemongrass, maybe peppercorn, something like that. And when I was watching that show, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm remembering that beer. And now I've done 50 collaboration beers over the years. It really set me on a path. And so I was really inspired to then hear that. It's just been crazy how these
but I love you telling that story. That's how you honor him. I mean, his legacy, what he has done, the chefs he has inspired and taught, none of that's going away. If anything, now we just blow it up and we make sure that everybody knows. So,
well, what he and Danny Meyer did to take Indian cuisine and put it at the level of Tabla really opened the doors for all kinds of other authentic cuisines from around the world to have a place at the table, at the high-end table. Because before that, they were relegated to, the food stalls, the cafeteria type, the hole in the wall. And now they definitely have more respect. And it's interesting, we elevated them. And now we find ourselves going, all right, now they can be in more humble settings, but still have the respect at that level for food. So we definitely set the tone for that. And that's been on my mind a lot. I'm very interested in your insight into this. We've definitely gone more towards simplification. Maybe in 2008, white tablecloths and crystal started to go away. Now we're going to see another simplification probably. Yeah. And I'm interested what you see that potentially playing out as.
I mean, until 3 weeks ago, right? Yes. I mean, everybody loves to support the food truck and, then maybe for a special occasion, the higher end spot. What's going to happen to those higher end spots now? I have no idea. I don't think they're all going to go away, but the truth is that a really good, vibrant dining scene has all of it, right? It has food trucks and it has wonderful open air markets and it has, small mom and pop type restaurants and it also has fine dining. And so I think Denver was getting a really beautiful place where we had this wide swath of offerings, and I'm really curious to see how it's going to play out. I have heard as dire as we will lose 75% of our restaurants to we will lose 50% to 25%. It's hard to say, but we are going to lose a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
Not because they're not good business people, not because they didn't have good food, but because there are no margins in this business. Because to be perfectly honest, diners are not willing to pay $30 for a hamburger. And if it's a homemade bun and good, locally raised, responsible meat and, an organic tomato, then it should cost $30. Not because the ingredients do, but because that operator is paying rent and property taxes and costs and hopefully healthcare for the workers. And, are people going to be willing after all this to pay more for food so that workers can have paid leave, which they very much need right now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We don't like to pay what food costs. We don't like to pay that, and that's got to be addressed.
Yeah, I think also restaurants are going to figure out creative ways to look at their line item budgets and say what's mission critical. And I think a couple things are playing out. One, people are mission critical. And I think more and more we buy into humans and hospitality, the better off we are. And that's been a big mission of like why and who before what and how is the thesis of Best Served. Is like, why do we get out of bed in the morning to do what we do and who it is we serve, who's gotten us to this point, who's in the trenches making it happen. And I think we see that those relationships and that North Star and that anchor to keep us grounded are what I believe is really important. We're seeing now that we don't have our restaurants. That's the only thing that we do have is the relationships that we have and the connection to each other and the food, the service, the drinks, all of that is just a conduit to create that relationship, the opportunity for that. And now we're having to reconcile that because we can't create an experience outside of that food. And is that hard for people in the industry because that's high touch hospitality.
Well, and you know what? Not everybody can afford even a $15 hamburger. And of course, obviously, which is why the dining scene needs restaurants and food outlets of all types at all levels of, the price spectrum. But we also we all say we want to take care of workers, right? And so that means healthcare and paid leave and things that restaurants do not currently have necessarily worked into their business models. And so that's something that I think is going to be rethought as things close and then maybe hopefully reopen.
Yeah, there's such a challenge. Restaurants, breweries, distilleries, some of the few types of businesses that are actually two different businesses operating under one. You are in manufacturing and you're in retail sales.
Yeah.
And it's the only business where you're trying to jam a shoe factory into the highest rent areas, high traffic areas of town.
Right.
And so it's a big challenge. And especially I've been guilty of this, being the chef driven, reading too many articles about yourself and going, ooh, I need a bigger, better, faster, stronger kitchen. Yet you don't actually make any money in your kitchen. 100% of the revenue you create is in butts and seats. And our kitchens got bigger and bigger. Yeah. And so I'm very interested in how that plays out, like how chef driven becomes all about experience and love for food, not necessarily all the bells and whistles, because we just can't afford to have 40% of your real estate in something that's $45 a square foot, triple net, all of that. The economics just don't make sense. So this is going to have us reflect both on our humanity and our economics. And once we get through this pain, I'm hoping that a lot of really smart people will take the next evolution of the restaurant industry and that you will write all about it.
Yes, I'm trying to. Yes, I will. I hope I still can. Yeah, that's my goal.
Yes. Excited about when that happens. circling back to social media, something that I think is interesting and I wanted to get your take on is I've been really promoting the idea of hand-to-hand, one-on-one rebuilding your community in this new landscape. I see a lot of just email blasting and social media blasting, and there's so much white noise right now. And everybody's clamoring for that space. Again, the people that are doing well already had built out those communities in different arenas. And so I'm saying, like, go into your database, find the 100 people that actually give a shit about you, and reach out to them personally with not sell, buy, but ask. And getting people, I'd even like to see staff get involved. Get your servers involved who are not working. They're not in the kitchen, even if you're doing curbside, and have them write a 1 paragraph. I remember the first time you came in and tried that bottle of Riesling, and every time since, and send that message, and then give that server part of the tip when they actually purchase. Like, I'm just thinking creatively like that.
Getting any sort of merchandise or gift card or food or whatever from any independent business, please do tip big. I mean, that's just, that money is going directly into wages right now. So that's important. But also, I think that, there's a lot of GoFundMes that are getting started. We're kind of compiling a list. There's a lot. There's national campaigns, citywide campaigns, and then there's these really tiny little efforts. And I think they all have validity. The problem is, it's too much white noise. If every single restaurant group has their own GoFundMe page, then yes, if it's your favorite restaurant, you will probably go right there. But there are thousands of them. And so will everyone just get drips and drabs? Is it better to consolidate? And lots of people are trying to consolidate, but it is, at the moment, it's still kind of uncharted territory. Everybody's trying to figure out what the right way to help is and who to support and how. I'm still trying to figure that out too.
Yeah, and it seems like we've been at this for a year and a day right now, but it's been
not even 2 weeks.
Not even 2 weeks, and so we're in it for a while. A couple of things are going to happen. One, it is going to get harder before it gets easier. There's no doubt about that. And second, it's also going to normalize to the point where you can start to see outside of your own scarcity and get a little bit out of fight or flight, because it's just become the new normal for you as you just acclimate to that. And I'm hoping once we get to that point, then we can have real conversations about consolidating some of that effort, collaborations, focusing the energy, figuring out where those efforts are best pointed. And again, social media and media now is taking on a bigger piece of responsibility in that, because everybody is paying attention. My screen time is through the roof. It's crazy how much time I'm on the screen, yet I'm doing a lot of work in that time. And it's just a new frontier.
We all have to share in every possible way we can, do anything. Send a note to your favorite restaurant and tell them that you're thinking of them and you can't wait for them to come back, to in-person dining, because that will lift somebody's spirits. We all need that right now. We got to do everything to be kind and as generous as we can. If you cannot give money, if you can't order something right now and pay for it, finances, send a note, share something on social media, just to get the word out to those who can. There's a lot we can do to help each other right now.
That's right. We're humans. We figure shit out. We always have found a way.
And we figure shit out more than restaurant workers. Nobody. Yeah. I mean, nobody. I would vote for Jose Andres for president right now. Like right now. So, chefs get shit.
The ability to work in the most adverse situations possible, building a team. I mean, all of it, all of the ability of leadership and the finding a way, dusting yourself off and just making it happen is so in the DNA of the hospitality industry.
There is. And there's a lot of things going on right now. I mean, we're writing about it on 5280, but so is the Post and so is Westford. Everybody is. There are communications companies stepping up. I mean, feeding our heroes. Have you heard about that? So Prim Communications is doing meals. They have a network of independent restaurants cooking meals for healthcare workers right now. And if you donate to that endeavor, feeding our heroes, $100 donation will feed 12 healthcare workers. Denver Central Market has grocery boxes now for pickup. And, everybody's trying to help Regular people get food in their homes to cook because we are all supposed to stay at home. And then we're also helping, the restaurant industry is helping each other. They're helping laid off workers. Zeppelin Station is doing family meals for people. There's so many. I can't even keep up or mention them all, but there's a lot going on. So get on social and get on local media and then figure out how you can support.
Yes. Right? And we will get back into the comments and link up as many of those resources as possible, and go to that COVID-19 restaurant information thread. We're trying to aggregate as much of that information as I can. And positivity, I like that you're keeping the positivity. I like that you're finding some time for some grapefruits for yourself. Give us a couple playlist items. What are you listening to, reading, watching, playing? That's allowing you some decompression time. Give us something binge-worthy as we have a little bit extra time on our hands.
It clearly is influenced by my kid, but we are obsessed with Lego Masters. And it's been, so I think we watched it on Hulu. It's a Fox show, actually. And it's the first reality TV show about Legos. Have you seen it? It's amazing.
I have not seen it. I've seen the trailers for it. I've seen Will Arnett dropping Lego Batman voice.
Lego Batman is the host. He's hilarious. And then they have a challenge or two every week, and they work in teams, and they have like 15 hours to build. They build the most incredible things. And my son has been doing his own Lego Master challenges at home. He built an urban farm the other day. I mean, it's
an urban farm.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
It Radish Towers, he called it, and it's been helping us. So it's keeping him occupied and inspired, and it's such a good show. And then last night we watched some Hostile Planet, so some animals, tearing each other apart. So that's what we're up to.
I love it. That's really great.
Carnivorism.
That I appreciate that. I'm actually going to make sure and tag Linnea Covington in this as an urban farm Lego would be right up her alley. She dropped off radishes at the house the other day when she came from a farm, and we put it on the curb. She gave me radishes, and I gave her some bone broth and some Thai curry. So,
nice.
And she's writing a lot about farmers, somebody else who needs our support.
That means a lot to her. That's an important cause to her. She is all about the farmers. If she hasn't already watched it, I'd be shocked. Linnea, you're watching it already. I know she is.
Yeah. You're all over it. Denise, thank you for the leadership in communication that you continue to exude in this time. Appreciate you being on the show. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. You have a great day. Be safe.
Okay.
Everybody, and stay home. All right. Amazing. Apologies at the beginning. Technical difficulties left and right. Too many people on the interwebs these days. We've been glitching a lot, but damn it, I am sticking with it. Whatever it takes to communicate with you, to get people the opportunity to share their voices, insights, inspirations, to link to any information. Denise is a wealth of knowledge. Creating the hashtag Colorado Curbside has been a really great way to aggregate that information. And she gave us a couple little tidbits, so we'll get that linked up for everybody. We'll continue to stay safe, to stay diligent in this time, as we're in this stay at home, shelter in place type thing, yet continue to support the individuals and the businesses. We've been talking a lot about what it means to struggle through this time right now. And I want everybody to know that there are creative ways that hospitality industry professionals can bring value to businesses that are operating right now. And this is going to be a time where we're going to show our grit. So I am actually grateful in this crazy ass way that this has stripped me down to the most simplest things, that I just need to find a way to do things that I love and cook a little bit and communicate with people. So you're hurting out there, everybody is, and we're also going to find a way to dust ourselves off and make some shit happen, because that's what we do as humans, and especially humans in hospitality. We just don't know any other way but to grind and hustle and struggle and make it happen. So I'm grateful to have that opportunity, because somebody like Floyd Cardos, who had a massive influence on me, no longer has that opportunity. And fuck, man, that's crazy. It's crazy to think, that guy's a juggernaut, and something like this took him down, and he will not be soon forgotten. So thank you, everybody. Gotta get my hat. I'm realizing I have a lot of Tender Belly hats. I love the Duffy boys, Shannon and Eric. They have been big supporters ever since I was at TAG. Now, row 14, we did a demo at Denver Food and Wine, and they donated a little suckling pig for a demo that I did, and we've been friends and worked together for a lot of years. So if you need your bacon fix, get a hold of Tender Belly in, well, they're like national now, but definitely the homies are in Denver for sure. Tomorrow's episode, I'm going to be talking Operation Family Meal. If you listened to the episode a couple days ago with John Hinman and Heather Lundy Nelson, we talked about Operation Family Meal a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit more with the guys that are actually in the kitchen making that happen. So there'll be a few of us on talking Operation Family Meal in Denver, Colorado. A good peek into what people are doing to feed the hospitality industry, support those that are struggling right now. So if you are in the Denver area, you can very specifically get that support. And if you're anywhere nationally, it might give you a little bit of insight, a little roadmap into how to create that own infrastructure for yourself there. Thank you, everybody. As always, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and I will continue to do so. Glitches and all. Cheers.